What's up, you guys? This is HJ here, and in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be taking a look at this laptop for probably the second time. This is my update 2 years later. Now, there's not going to be an unboxing experience because, well, I got this off a friend first off when I bought it from them, but I also didn't get a box with it when I got it, so, and not to mention it's, well, obviously 2 years old at this point. But this laptop came out in 2021. It sports an i5 1135G7. That's a very complicated name, a little bit simpler now. But what you guys do get in the box, just so you guys are aware, and just so you guys can see, you guys do get a 45-watt charger right out of the box in piece, and the brick is a two-segmented part, so you guys can detach this portion if this part breaks and replace that, or you can replace the brick separately. I'm not really a fan of the ones with the single one, just particularly because if there's a power surge or if there's a spark or anything, that current goes directly to your laptop most of the time. And then, of course, you guys will see that I have personal branded stickers on here, but nevertheless, it's usually going to be silver with a metallic, dark silver or grayish logo on the middle, depending on how you look at it. You can kind of see the imprint there in the middle. But the reason why I have the skin up here is because there are a lot of stickers up here, and also because I do my podcast from this laptop a lot of the time, and I'm out in public, so this is just my way of doing my personal branding. And on the inside, this is what the keyboard looks like. Now, I'm going to go ahead and note that when you get this laptop, or if you get this laptop is going to be very hard to see the keyboard in direct sunlight, and you shouldn't really be using this thing in sunlight at all, and I'll talk about that when I get to the display. But if you do choose to do that, or if you're outside in the shade and the sun is reflecting down on part of your keyboard, it's going to bounce back and hit your eyes, and there's going to be so much glare over the keyboard because the silver on gray on silver, it's not exactly very practical for outdoor use. But I'm looking at this as a review from a student's perspective, since I am getting ready to wrap up my degree in May. So, yeah, congratulations to me. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys in the comments will probably be wishing me congratulations as well, if you have not already. So thank you in advance for that, and now you guys are awesome for that. And on the left side, you will get a power port. You'll get two USB 3s. These are super speed, so you're going to get 5 gigabits, but they're not the 10 gigabit ones. And I did check the HDMI. It's 1.4B. And this USB-C is not a super speed, but it is still it's still technically pretty close to 5 gigabits. It just doesn't label as super speed. No Thunderbolt. But it is USB 3, so that's good. The other thing about the Type-C port is there's no charging with it and no display port. So if you try to connect a monitor to this laptop, you're going to have to use the HDMI, or you're going to have to use an HDMI splitter, which you can buy off of Amazon, and that's going to be how you route your double monitors through this laptop. You guys do get a headphone jack or microphone combo jack, and you guys do get an SD card reader, which, interestingly enough, I've played some games and I've ran them off of an SD card before. Pretty fun, gives you a little bit of storage expansion if you choose to do that route, or if you're a content creator like me and you do need to use the SD card reader for files and transferring photos and videos, you can use it for that as well. And for those that are wondering about gaming, I am going to talk about that a little bit. I'm not going to feed you guys a lot of benchmarks because I like to look at my reviews from the perspective as like an everyday user, not somebody that wants to dive into all that stuff, but from like your perspective, what you guys are going to be using it for every day. Now, guys, when you see my password, so I'm just going to hover this away from the keyboard best I can. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Now, I'm going to go into the Intel Graphics Command Center so you can see, because I did upgrade the drivers, and I also did upgrade the Wi-Fi card. The Wi-Fi card was originally Wi-Fi 5, and it was originally, I believe, a MediaTek. I swapped it to an Intel Wi-Fi card, and I swapped it to an Intel Wi-Fi 6E card. Now this is the graphics driver, so it's up to date as you guys can see. You guys do get Iris Xe graphics, but you get the 11th gen version, so just keep that in mind. Your unit will not come pre-installed with 32 gigs unless you configure it that way, and I don't think that configuration is available right out of the gate. I think the max for this one is 16 right out of the gate. That's just because that's shared memory for graphics memory 16, and the RAM being at 32 was just simply because I upgraded it to 32 myself after the fact, and that's why it's like that, because I do like to run a lot of programs on this, so that's good. And then of course the processor is listed in the hardware specs. Base clock's 2.40. Of course, everybody knows it goes up to 4.4 something, so that's pretty good. And you also have a 41 watt hour battery, which, believe it or not, I've kind of used it long enough to know the battery is okay. You're probably more likely to get 3.5 to 4.5 hours of moderate usage out of this, or light usage out of this, depending on what you're doing. I could sit here and watch a YouTube video on the power efficiency mode, not balanced, like I am running right now, and I could probably get at least 5 hours on that, barely. But if you're going to do anything very heavy, like streaming a movie, for example, that's like an hour and a half long, you're probably looking at 3 hours. Probably. You know, that's if your battery is, like my condition, like a little bit older. If it's a newer battery, you're looking at about 4.5 hours, but don't bet on that, because that's if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you'll get close to 5 hours. But yeah, you're looking at like 3 hours, 3.5 hours of real usage. Which, I mean, is okay, because this is not really like a gaming laptop or like a professional level laptop with like top tier graphics, etc. Now this is just my web browsing thing, so reason why I pulled this up is so that you guys can see that based upon how everything is, it works fine. It's pretty good. I have no issues with like scrolling through pages and whatnot. It's perfectly fine for that in that regard. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit of the gaming and video editing, though I'm not going to actually do that exactly, not in this one, but I will probably put out a gaming test later separately. So if you guys want that, please comment for that, and I'll give you guys like some games that I know will run, because not everything's gonna run on this, obviously, and it's gonna be like your older titles like 2018 or lower, except for Destiny 2, which is a powerhouse right now. So don't run Destiny 2 and don't run Cyberpunk, because they're not going to run. Everything else prior to 2018 might run, but it's going to run on medium to low. So expect it to not be top tier graphics. Don't expect the Crew 2 to run either, because I tried that. It was like, nah. No, don't do that. But yeah, so gaming is okay. And the reason why I say gaming is okay is because I can run Forza and Forza 4 and Forza 5, but use the built-in benchmark mode and have the benchmark mode reset the settings to the very lowest for me. Run it at like 720p or 1600 or like 900, not 900p, yeah, 900p, 1600 by 900, and just work with 30, 40 FPS, and I'm okay with that because this is not a gaming laptop. I have a gaming laptop. I've done quite a few reviews. I've done a review on that before. And compared to gaming laptop, I mean, yes, it's not a gaming laptop and it's not fair to compare it, but let's just say you had something like an Iris Xe Max, which has 2 gigabytes of dedicated VRAM, or an NVIDIA MX graphics. Those are more for ultrabooks and business computers anyways, and compared to those, you're probably looking at close to, but probably like a 2 steps down from that, maybe. And that's only because this thing is an integrated card anyways, so everything is going to be shared with the system memory, and it's not going to process the images as effectively. Now, when you start getting into your 12th gen and 13th gen processors, that's a different story, because those processors have been retuned and reconfigured to work specifically for higher demand loads, because they picked up on the fact that people were gaming on the integrated cards and other factors as well, and they figured they wanted to give a thin and light package with performance. Now that's different. When you're talking about the 11th gen Iris Xe, which this is boasting, this was the first, great leap into trying to do what 12th, 13th, and 14th gen can do. And so that's why a lot of the stuff that you can run on the 14th gen or 13th gen chips perfectly fine. Like, I could run Destiny 2 on a 13th gen laptop on low and be fine as long as I'm plugged in or have 60 or 120 hertz, and I can turn the render resolution down a little bit and have breathing room. On this, I cannot run Destiny 2 for crap, even though it's still an integrated card. It's an older one, mind you. But that's just because this was the entry to that gateway, and that door opened, and this was the key that opened that door. And because of that, this is not going to perform at very high levels compared to those, because they were just getting started. So now you see why I'm impressed, but not really 100% truly impressed. They could have done better at the beginning, but like I said, keys opening a door. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that too. The last thing I wanted to touch on, and the very last thing I wanted to touch on, is the video editing portion and the audio editing, because I know I promised you guys I would do that. So I can run OBS, I can run Twitch Studio, any of that stuff, Audacity, all that, and edit audio or video for my podcasts, do it in browser, do it natively, and be fine. And I'm not going to edit 4K. I'm only editing 1080p because most of my videos are 720 1080p because, well, I'm a podcaster by trade, or by hobby, I should say, not by trade. So I'm not really trained to do the 4K stuff, and I really just don't want to, because let's just be real, most of you guys are going to watch this stuff on 1080p screens anyway. Good chunk of you guys are. So I don't really edit 4K. So for me, doing 1080p is just fine. I can get by. And on 32 gigs of RAM, I'm going to breeze through it, because it's light. It's light to medium. It's not something that's like, oh, you're doing a song for, can I throw out a name for like a rapper or some pop star or something without like getting in trouble? Okay, let me pick a random one for the hat, like the Kid Leroy doing a song with his producer, or Michael Bay producing a Transformers movie at 8K or 16K for whatever they do for the Transformers movies. It's not going to be something like that where you're trying to do it for like a big screen or like an album or something, or an EP even. It's going to be more on par with like a podcaster or someone who does radio, who's just using sound waves and different encoders and frequencies to try and create basic audio or video. It's not going to be top of the line. So at the end of the day, it works. Like, that's all I'm going to say. It basically just works. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this review, I know it's like 14 minutes long at this point, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of it. I tried recording this morning, and it was so horrible and discombobulated, I didn't want to do it to myself, and I just deleted the video. So if you guys like and subscribe to this channel, and like this video because of how well I've did this version, then I'm mighty impressed with myself at that point, because of the fact that I was able to do that. So hopefully I impressed you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And like I said, comment if you want that gaming test, because I don't mind doing it for you guys. I love this. I love it.